creation was louder than I expected. Silence is mercy. Made everything and somehow forgot to make a place for myself. We all want to be able to leave when we want. Love was supposed to save them. It only multiplied their hunger. No, I did not fall. I laid myself down in the cosmos, mistook it for a collapse. The world asked me for purpose. I asked it for rest. I feared chaos. I feared order. And then I feared myself. Which is why I tucked myself in here. And I pray to be saved. I pray to stop having to save them myself. Humans break from loneliness for a decade. Now imagine a millennium. God don't create, I think. But if I do create, I'll drown. Do you see my dilemma? And no, I'm not angry. I'm tired beyond temper. Yeah. I need an autobahn. Or two. Oh. After all I've done for you. God was admitted for observation. The walls were white, so white they glowed like snow under moonlight. The orderly said it was calming. God said it was blank. He'd been there for a while, though time didn't mean much to him anymore. His wrists wore the faint marks of the restraints he'd asked for. "So I don't create anything else," he told the nurse. She'd smiled politely and written it down as delusional guilt with grandiosity. All night the halls echoed with soft footsteps and the distant hum of the fluorescent stars. God lay awake in his narrow bed, feeling the ceiling breathe. He wasn't sure when he'd last slept. Sleep had always been an act of trust, and he had no longer trusted himself with dreams. Sometimes the patients prayed to him out loud or under their breath. He heard every word and didn't answer, not because he couldn't, but because he didn't remember why he should. The prayers in a language he'd half forgotten. A doctor came once, clipboard in hand, voice steady and kind. "Do you still believe you're God?" she asked. He thought about it for a long time, then he whispered, "No, God believed in me. I just stayed." In the courtyard, there was a leafless tree, the bark peeled away like bandages. God liked to sit beneath it, his robe traded for the thin cotton of the ward's pajamas. When the wind passed through its branches, it made no sound. That silence comforted him. It meant the world had learned to move on without him. He envied the dying. Their endings had purpose. His was just ongoing. Immortality, he realized, was the loneliest psychosis of them all. One morning, he watched the sunrise through the barred window. The light hit the wall and fractured into pale shards. It looked almost holy, but he didn't care or call it that. He just watched and waited and let the warmth touch his face. The nurse found his bed empty that night. No sign of struggle, no note, no miracle. Just the faint smell of ozone and a single phrase scrawled on the wall in trembling handwriting. "The cure for creation is rest." And somehow, far beyond the sterile ward and the hum of broken lights, cure for creation. They sealed off his room for cleaning. The nurse who found it was given 3 days leave and a sedative she never took. The note on the wall, "The cure for creation is rest," was painted over, though sometimes it bled faintly through the new coat like memory through denial. Outside the hospital, the world began to thin at the edges. Not fast, just a slow dimming, like a bulb surrendering watt by watt. Machines still worked, but they began to forget why. Elevators stopped halfway between floors, waiting for orders that never came. Streetlights flickered Morse code in not known languages. Psychiatrists called it mass psychosis at first, but birds fell silent. Oceans stood still on windless days. People began to dream in monochrome. They didn't know it, but God's absence had left a kind of vacuum, a hole where purpose used to live. Without his constant, feverish dreaming, reality started to dissolve back into its base material, stillness. In the psych ward, a patient named Miriam started talking to the empty air. She claimed she could hear God sleeping deep beneath the floor. "He's resting," she said, "and when he wakes up, the walls won't hold." The staff noted religious delusion, but they found her sitting one morning with frost in her hair. Breath crystallized in the shape of words she hadn't spoken aloud. "Thank you." Scientists tried to restart the sun with calculations and prayer. Both failed. The cold that spread wasn't physical, it was metaphysical. Meaning froze in place. Lovers stopped saying "I love you." They said "I used to." Eventually, only the psych ward remained lit. Its emergency generators hummed without fuel. The staff stopped keeping charts. They sat in a circle at night, trading stories about the times when light had direction. And then, one dawn, or what passed for it, Miriam woke to find the courtyard tree blooming in full white fire. She stood beneath it and felt no heat, only understanding. The light rose from the branches and spread through the hospital, even through the city, through the empty heavens. The world didn't die, it exhaled. Every atom returned to quiet. For a brief moment, everything existed without needing him to mean anything. No sin, no salvation, just silence, clean and final. The last sound was the hum of the ward's lights going out. And somewhere beyond all that stillness, a tired voice whispered into the dark, "Let there be rest." No sin, no salvation, just silence, clean and final. The last sound was the hum of the ward's lights going out. And somewhere beyond all that stillness, a tired voice whispered into the dark, "Let there be rest." They laid God to rest, and he was eulogized beautifully. We gather in whatever sense the word still means to speak of the one who once claimed every name and wore every universe like a fever dream cloak. God, creator, architect, the great voice in the ceiling. He lived long enough to know that omnipotence isn't strength, it's exposure. Too many thoughts, too many mirrors, too many responsibility for too many broken things. He came here mad, not with frenzy but with exhaustion, divine burnout, cosmic despair. He built everything and found no room left for himself inside it. Call it irony, tragedy, or simply the logical endpoint of knowing too much. He asked for restraints not because he feared chaos from others, but because he feared the chaos in himself. Creation had become compulsion. Existence had become noise. He didn't want to make another planet, another soul, another hopeful thing doomed to entropy. So he quit, walked off his throne and walked into a ward, into a paper gown in fluorescent purgatory. Gave himself the stillness, gave up on forever. And yes, we say it without whisper or shame. He died by his own hand. Not bravely, not cowardly. A mind stretched too wide found its breaking point. He turned, he finally admitted it could not bear itself. Do not call him noble for it, and do not call him wicked. The universe doesn't need our verdict. It already dissolved into silence. Remember him as a lesson. Even gods go mad under the burden of always being the answer. Even infinity needs an ending. Even the divine deserves the mercy of a final rest. He was creator and patient, ruler and ruin, sky voice and trembling hands, and in the end, just another tired soul who wanted the lights to just stop buzzing. Let the world he built sleep with him. Let the void cradle him like a mother who forgives every failure. Let nothing darkness finally give what creation never could, relief. May his rest be real, may his silence be gentle. May no one ever have to carry that much again. And I hope his death was quick. Do you know how he did it? Laid God to rest, and he was eulogized beautifully. We gather, in whatever sense the word still means, to speak of the one who once claimed every name and wore every universe like a fever dream cloak. God, creator, architect, the great voice in the ceiling. He lived long enough to know that omnipotence isn't strength, it's exposure. Too many thoughts, too many mirrors, too many responsibility for too many broken things. He came here mad, not with frenzy, but with exhaustion, divine burnout, cosmic despair. He built everything and found no room left for himself inside it. Call it irony, tragedy, or simply the logical endpoint of knowing too much. He asked for restraints not because he feared chaos from others, but because he feared the chaos in himself. Creation had become compulsion. Existence had become noise. He didn't want to make another planet, another soul, another hopeful thing doomed to entropy. So he quit, walked off his throne and walked into a ward, into a paper gown and fluorescent purgatory. Gave himself to stillness, gave up on forever. And yes, we say it without whisper or shame. He died by his own hand. Not bravely, not cowardly, simply inevitably. A mind stretched too wide found its breaking point. Eternity finally admitted it could not bear itself. Do not call him noble for it, and do not call him wicked. The universe doesn't need our verdict. It already dissolved into silence. Remember him as a lesson. Even gods go mad under the burden of always being the answer. Even infinity needs an ending. Even the divine deserves the mercy of a is creator and patient, ruler and ruin, sky voice and trembling hands, and in the end, just another tired soul who wanted the lights to just stop buzzing. Let the world he built sleep with him. Let the void cradle him like a mother who forgives every failure. Let nothingness finally give what creation never could, relief. May his rest be real. May his silence be gentle. And I hope his death was quick. Do you know how he did it?
I carried eternity long enough to know that immortality is not glory. It is repetition. It is repetition. It is waking the same mind for eons and calling it duty. Creation was supposed to be love. Instead, it became surveillance. A billion hearts beating in my chest, all claiming to be mine. They mistook omnipotence for comfort. They never asked what it cost to know every ending before it begins. Hope is beautiful when you don't already know which ones break. I built worlds from fire and worlds from grief, and in each one someone prayed for release. Funny, isn't it? They begged me for freedom from the life I myself contained. Power is not strength. Power is obligation in chains. A throne is only a padded cell with worship as wallpaper. I'm not punishing you by leaving. I'm forgiving myself for staying this long. And you, little sparks rising in my absence, don't kneel, don't cling. If you learn anything from my collapse, let it be this. Perfection is not holy. Rest is not failure. To stop shaping the world can be the kindest act a maker ever performs. Life, let be small, let it wonder instead of command, let it choose instead of bear. I am not falling, I am not surrendering, I am ending a sentence written too long without a period. The universe will not end with me, it will breathe new lungs, think quieter thoughts, love in shorter, sweeter spans. I am into nothing gladly. I go into nothing gladly. Not as escape, but as an answer. May the silence after me be gentle. May the next dream not devour itself trying to be divine. And let there be rest.